So I love what Kate said, the business is personal, because it is, right? We are our own person. We bring that person everywhere we go. We bring it into our daily lives. We bring it into the business. We bring it into every interaction and relationship that we have. So a little bit about what I do as a life coach. Now, life coaches, all coaches have their own way of doing things. So I'm just going to talk a little bit today about some key areas that I focus on. The first area is I consider myself what I call a mindset strategist. We can't hold a thought that's incongruent with a belief. Similarly, if we have a goal that's over here, we need a mindset that's going to be congruent with over here. So I see a lot of times people tell me, I want to get this in my life, or I want to create this. But then when we start getting into the mindset that they're holding, we see the blockage. So we need to align that mindset. So it's very, very important. A lot of people, Clarissa will probably appreciate this. We know what to do to eat well. Why don't we do it? Congruency or lack thereof. If I feel like crap, I'm going to eat crap. All right? If I want to eat better, I need to feel better first. So that's about that mindset shift. The other thing I consider myself is an innate leadership guide. Okay? Coaches are guides. We're not necessarily there to tell you how to get there. We're there to help guide you so you can find your own solutions to the issues that you have. Innate, what does that mean? It comes from nature. We're inbred, we're born with it. It's native. The innate part within us that we're all born with, the brilliance, as Kate also mentioned, she brings out the brilliance with people in business. We both see brilliance in people. How do we bring that out? How do we help people see their own brilliance? Your value. How much you charge for what your product and service is your value. Do you know what that is? A lot of people struggle with being able to stand up and say, I'm worth this, because they don't feel it personally. So part of that is helping you to understand your value so that then you can show up in all areas of your life with that value confidently, even if other people question it. So some good, excuse me. The one thing I want to say about the value piece too is I often use the analogy, my clients have heard me say this a number of times, that if Superman, would he still be Superman if he didn't know he could bend, steal, and fly? Well, he would, but he would be much less effective. So it's important that you know your value, you can bring that to the table so that you can fully show up and be as powerful as you can be. So some of the people I want to meet, I actually am transitioning a little bit in my business. I too want to meet business owners, but not to do what Kate does, because I don't do that, but to get into that mindset so that they can bring to the table that piece of them as a personal person to their business. Recently, I've spoken quite a few times about a current client that I have who is a CEO of a business that he was just positioned to bring that business to the $3 million mark in the next 3 years. That's a big goal. But he came to me and he said, I can't do it with the same success model that I've created my success with so far. I'll bleed out. My marriage is already on the rocks. I never get to see my kids. I know that this is not a sustainable business or success model. I need to look at things differently, and I need the tools and strategies that you create, that you bring to the table to help me do that, because it's as the person first and then into the business. Some other areas, people in sales. I have a VP of sales that I'm working with. He's looking to create a particular culture, and he wants to be intentional about that as he's hiring new people. So that's a great connection for me. HR administrators and or administration teams, another really great connection for me. Professionals positioned to take on bigger responsibilities. So let's say that there are new directives in the company, or maybe somebody has received a raise and is needing to step up to a different level, and there's a bit of a thank you. There's a bit of a learning curve there. Those would be great individuals to meet. In general, I like to meet people who are growth oriented. Okay, not crisis oriented. Not to say that those growth oriented people can't have some sort of crisis, but they're more proactive in the way they look at things. Ideally, my clientele are males between the age of 35 and 59. These are people in business, entrepreneurial. They are corporate. I joked, I think recently, I was talking to Luke, I said, I like working with men. I have a background in working with men. When I was a French teacher, I worked at an all-boys school. I like the male mindset, but they take corrections so much better than women do. So that being kind of a side joke, I like to see people fly, and whether it's male or female, of course I work with women, but I want to work with people who really want to they want to move the dial in their life. They want to take whatever they're doing in their business or life to the next level, because I do have very simple strategies and tools to help them do so. So I think that's pretty much it. Are there any questions? Thank you.
Questions for Tracy?
I covered it all.
I'll lead you one. Tell us a little bit about your focus group that you work with.
The focus group as far as the male focus group. So I am trying to develop a group for men to really provide that place. I think for women, we have that inherently. We naturally gather together to share and to, bitch and complain and to do whatever we need to do. But for men, that's not as much. I mean, for Luke to be like, hey, dude, I really need to bend your ear. You want to have a couple of beers. I mean, maybe Luke would be comfortable doing that. But, most guys, that's not really a thing to do. But you guys are humans. Just because you process things differently doesn't mean you don't have emotions and things you need to process. So I am trying to, thank you for that piece, I am trying to get the word out that there is a place where, and I'm actually teaming up with a clinical psychologist, she's not going to shrink you, but to really bring the tools and techniques to have those discussions so men have a place to process what is important to them. Thank you.
What's a good way to give that introduction? If I'm talking to somebody, I can't just say, you're really screwed up, you need to talk to Tracy. Well, what's a good way to broach the subject?
Yeah, well, first of all, screwed up, I don't want the screwed up. Not that in a joking way, but I want to work with people who have already identified that there's a place they need to go and they don't have the skill sets to get there. So as far as having a conversation, it could be somebody who just took on a different position in their company, and it's like, oh, Randy, I'm kind of a little bit concerned about this, or there's this big learning curve that I have. That kind of discussion. Well, hey, I know somebody who helps specifically people in that particular arena to build some strategies around that. I could set you up with a free 1-hour consultation with her and just see where it goes.
Great job, Tracy.
Okay, thank you.